My humble respect to Guru Mahan, Guru Piran Sivasankaran, Guru Piran Nyo, fellow Jnanis. Today is a very auspicious day because today is actually November 20th, 2025. And today is the Remembrance Day of Guru Piran Sivasankaran, 31st Remembrance Day. So I thought I will devote today's satsang to his life and his contribution to Mahan and Mahan's work here and Mahan's teachings in Malaysia. Now, of course, he was my father, but I'm not going to speak in the context of a father. I'm going to speak in the context of his guru-disciple bond with Mahan, because from young onwards, he was very close to Mahan. And that bond was very important to ensure that that link between this great Mahan continue in Malaysia and continue to today. If that link was not there, I don't think Mahan would have been known in this country. So here it is that in my lifetime, I've lived with these two of them, with Mahan and also with Guru Sankaran. Of course, he was my father, right? And I wrote this reflecting on his life. And whenever we want to progress in our own spiritual journey, we ought to look at the people who are spiritual and have attained enlightened life or lived an enlightened life. So I was very fortunate that I lived in an era where I had Mahan and Guru Piran Sivasankaran. And much of my own worldviews and much of my own understanding of life and everything else was shaped by them. So to some extent, I owe a great gratitude to both of them, of course, including my mother. So I found this relationship between this guru and this disciple was very unique. Why I say this is that it somewhat reminded me of the relationship between Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda. The kind of bond that both of them have, which I was quite amazed. But then after reflecting back very carefully, I realized that it was not an accident. It was actually a divine destiny that actually made them meet. Last week, I spoke in the satsangs on how Swamiji at the age of 11 had a question of who is God or the creator, what this creation is, how this universe came, and how do we fit in this universe. And I spoke about this Mahan last week's satsang on how at the age of 11 years old up to the age of 38 he was yearning for this enlightenment, and how the guru comes into his life and shows him a particular method. And then from then onwards, Mahan just continued to innovate and discover new things. In that same way, I saw the relationship between Guru Sankaran and Guru Mahan. Why I'm saying this is that Guru Sankaran comes from a very humble family, not very wealthy, a mother who was supporting all of them. And they pretty much lived a very, the mother was being from from India, those days when they come here, it was a struggle, right? And so she had children, and it was really a very tough time in Malaysia. And of course, she had the children, and Guru Sankaran was one of the sons. And He was born in 1935 and on the 7th of January 1935. And by the time, he was about 9 years old, 1944, his father died, uh, during the Japanese occupation. So the family was thrown in a disarray. So they did a lot of odd jobs and, looking after restaurants, cleaning. So he didn't go to school until 11 years old, which is really fascinating because that was the time the war was on. So you couldn't go to school. So from 1941 to 45, all the schools were closed. So only in when the war ended in 1945, that in 1946 he went to school. And very fascinating, he was working in a restaurant and he was very interested to learn English. He was good in Tamil, he wanted to learn English. So, like Mahan's story, there was a teacher from LaSalle that used to come to the shop to eat. And Guru Sankaran used to ask him, what are you reading? He said, can you teach me how to read? And that teacher taught Guru Sankaran how to read, gave him books. So Guru Sankaran was an avid reader and he picked up very quickly. And the teacher then called Guru Sankaran's brother and told him, this boy is 11 years old. He hasn't been to school. You should enroll him into school. So he was enrolled in LaSalle Klang. And at the age of 11 years old, he was starting standard 1. So, of course, Guru Sankaran was very studious and he worked hard. 11 years old, he started standard 1. By the time he was 18, 19 years old, he finished senior Cambridge. So he finished senior Cambridge very fast and is very good in English and Tamil. Of course, coming out of the school, jobs were very scarce, right? And he used to volunteer his time in a temple in Port Klang. And he used to organize a lot of youth program, a lot of, charitable program. He used to write in English papers and in Tamil for about youth program and so on. He also was a sportsman. He used to play football and badminton and all. So the temple used to ask him to do some writing in Tamil and English. So that's where he met Guru Irlappan, who used to teach Devaram. They became very good friends. Somewhat reminds me of Mahan and his Guru. And this is when Guru Sankaran used to tell him, how the challenges in his family and so on. And he said, once I get my sisters all married, I want to go and become a monk. He wanted to renounce everything and go and join the Shivananda ashram. So he had a lot of fondness for Swami Shivananda and of course for Adi Shankara. And he used to read a lot of the books of Swami Shivananda and Adi Shankara. And I'm very fortunate that we have some of the books that he used to read. And when he spoke to Guru Idlappan said, no, don't do anything because you have a lot of commitments, you have family to look after. So he says there's a guru coming from India. He's a Mahan. You talk to him. He will be able to show you the path. It's very interesting because he was looking for guru, but he was also looking for a father figure because he lost his father at a very early age. Of course, he had brothers and so on, but it's very different. Right? So one of the things that he was looking for is somebody to guide him spiritually, and that was missing in his life. So, and of course, the challenging circumstances in his family, there's so many people in the family at that time, and his brothers were unemployed, and, both his brothers were not, they couldn't read and write, and so were his sisters. So he was the only one who's English educated. And so he was lamenting the challenges he was facing, and Guru Illappan said, okay, Mahan is coming in Rajula, let's go and see him. Of course, Swamiji came, and Swamiji met him, Swamiji uh, asked him, why did you come? And he said, I simply came to see. And Swamiji said, if you simply come, you simply go. Right? In Tamil, he said this. So Guru Sankaran then had a kind of hey, how come this Mahan doesn't know what is in my mind? I want to become a monk. So then he went back home with Guru Illappan, a little bit disappointed. He went back home. But when he went back home, he had a dream. He started dreaming about a white elephant coming and, pulling him and taking him to some place. Then he realized, he asked Guru Illappan, what is this? And Guru Illappan told him, maybe it's Mahan telling you to come back. So they went back the next day, and Swamiji held his hands and said, you are the one that I was waiting for. Right? I wanted to see what your reaction was. But I know you will come back. So he came back. And normally when the Guru gives an initiation, the disciple asks, what Guru Dakshana? What should I give you? So normally people will, give, fruits and other things. So Swamiji said, no. I want you to go and buy the Odikolon. Odikolon is the colon that you use for the initiation process. And he went and bought. And he came back. He got his initiation. And once he got his initiation, he felt a lot of changes in him. What happened was that he started having a lot of insights into many of the teachings that he learned. The Advaita teachings of Adi Shankara and Swami Shivananda made a lot of sense to him. And he saw Mahan's teaching was also Advaita teachings, and Adi Shankara's teachings was also Advaita teachings. And he realized then that actually, he said in one of the things, he says, I was studying about Adi Shankara and Advaita teachings. He came in the form of a Mahan to teach me. I was yearning for Adi Shankara. I was yearning for Swami Shivananda. And I wanted to know Advaita teachings, this oneness. And Mahan came in, this great gurus came in the form of a Mahan to show me this way. So he says that when a disciple is ready, the Guru will show up. And he was so taken up by Swamiji's I Got book, Nan Kadavul book, he started reading feverishly. And he says that, this is exactly, and if you see the front page, it is, a Mahan I Got book, it is actually the essence of Advaita philosophy. That caught his eyes. And he says, Shankara came in the form of a Mahan. And Mahan, when he saw Guru Sankaran, he asked him, what is your name? He says, my name is Siva Sankaran. He says, Nida right person. So Guru Sankaran reflected back and said, hey, why Swamiji is saying? He says, you prayed for that which actually is Kundalini itself. So I am here to give you that. So actually, Lord Shiva is the one who practices Kundalini. Guru Sankaran was actually reading Adi Shankara, who's an ardent disciple of these teachings. And Guru Sankara was convinced this is none other than these great masters that have come to guide him. So he held on to Mahan's teachings, and the correspondence between him and Mahan intensified. So there was a change in him. So Swamiji told him, I want you to get married, look after your family. Also, when giving his initiation, he said, you want to be a monk? What for? He says that you can be this spiritual person while still living in a household, taking care of all your duties, your mother, your sisters, your brothers. So he told Guru Sankaran, I want you to get married. So anyway, Guru Sankaran then said, since my Guru said this, I will do it. He is one person that when the Guru says this, he will not go against. So he said, okay. But then in his mind, who will give him a proposal? Because so many proposals came, and every time they came to the house, when they saw the condition of the house, they didn't want. Because the condition is really, really bad. They used to have, the floor did not have cement. It was made out of cow dung. The roof was atap. It was all wooden house. The house was formerly a pigsty, and they converted, and people are living there. So when proposals came, the moment they saw the house, they said no. And so many people living, and he has to look after. So anyway, he was not too worried about it. So then Swamiji wanted him to get married, and that intention was already there in Swamiji's mind. And this one proposal came. And this one proposal was actually my mother's family. And so they gave the name, and my father always writes to Swamiji. Anything he wants to do, he'll ask Swamiji. He wrote, Swami, this is the girl's name, and what do you think? I won't move until you say, give me a positive signal. So Swamiji saw the name. Hey, her name is Sarada. Sarada actually is in our own scriptures, it's actually Parvati actually. So he says, Nalla Purtamana, Punnadane, Shivan and Sharada. So he says, no problem, go ahead and get married. So he gave okay. So my father also said, okay, no problem. So now here it is, the challenge that whether they come see the house, whether they will run away or not. But somehow Swamiji said, okay. So anyway, everything worked out. And in 1961, they were supposed to get married. And everything is arranged. My mother's mother passes away. She had cancer. But before she passed away, she said, don't postpone the wedding, because the wedding was set for 9th of December. And interesting, before she passed away a few months before that. And she told my father and my grandmother, don't postpone the wedding, just go ahead. Don't worry about the 1 year. Anyway, father wrote, because those days got all kinds of sambradayam. So my father wrote to Guru. Guru Mahan said, no, go ahead, proceed. So anyway, 9th of December, they got married. But here it is, something very interesting also I have to tell you, because this is probably the first time, how he was so wedded and welded to Mahan's teachings. Mahan was like he was his father, anything he consulted him. So wedding time, something very interesting happened. That of course his mother was a widow. And in our Hindu custom, the mother cannot stand and do anything because she's a widow. But my father was very close to his mother. And he wanted his mother to stand and give him the tali. And of course, all the elders said no. So this is before the wedding. So Guru Sankaran wrote to Mahan and said, what do you think? My mother is so important for me. So Guru Mahan told him, Mata, Pita, Guru, Deva. So mother is very important. Father, you didn't have a chance. I am standing like your father before a Guru. So bring your mother to the altar where the thing is done. Think of me and I will be there standing next to her. So he had confidence. Okay, told all the elders. My guru said, no problem. Let's proceed. So the wedding day comes. So the ceremony started. He was looking for his mother, and the mother was not there. So apparently, all the elders told her, you should have common sense. You are a widow. How can you give the tali to your son? It is not the right thing to do. So they convinced her and they put her in the room. But before that, my father said, there's no way I'm going to get married unless my mother is standing next to me. Well, the elders, of course, they had their own views. So they put her in the room and asked her to stay there. You only come out when everything is over. So my father was asking, where is my mother? And the priest said, Murto Nera Varudhu, let's continue. You can sort this all out later. So the elder said, never mind, you tie the tali and everything will be okay. So my father kept asking this question, where is my mother? She's supposed to be next to me and the guru is next to me. She said, no, the ceremony, the rituals are that. He says, no, my guru is there on behalf of my father. So a little bit of a small issue. So he got up from that place where he was sitting down. He went to the room. He opened the room and he saw his mother crying. That really disturbed him. He came, he wiped her tears. He said, come. He brought her up to the altar. He put the malyapu, he put the kungumam for her. He says, I want her to give me the tali, right? Because my guru is there with me. So it was really fascinating when he told that there's so much confidence in the guru as a father. So anyway, he got married on the 9th of December. I don't think anybody will do this. Everybody will buckle to the rituals. But my father had full confidence what Mahan said. He said, Mahan said, don't worry, I am there. I am your father. I will stand next to your mother in spirit and ask her to give you how you want. So see how the confidence of the guru, he just broke all the rituals. And he put the malipu for the mother, he put the kungumam for her. Now he held the hands, he said, you sit down here next to me. I want to see who is going to ask you to go. So, of course, he was a very tall man, so nobody really. So, anyway, he tied the tali and everything went really well. And in 1963, so of course, my elder brother was born, and then Swamiji was coming in 1963. Of course, many people say they will bring him, they brought him, but the living conditions wasn't so great. They never really looked after what he needed, food. And so my father brought him to Klang. There was a house he rented behind, somewhere around Perumal Temple. And my mother traveled from Pandamaran he'll drop her off. Those days, bus, there's no car. So he dropped her off where the house, so she'll clean the house, wash Swamiji's clothes, cook for him, everything. And then she will take the bus back to Port Klang. And then, so that happened throughout the 1963 period. And Swamiji then, in 1963, before he was going to leave, he said to Guru Sangaran, you're going to buy a house close by here. And that place will be a very auspicious place. So that is my father's first. So he didn't take it seriously because at that time that place was all jungle swamp. So then in 1964, that property was being developed, and that is the time my mother was expecting me. And Guru Sankara wrote to Mahan, hey, what you said was true. This is it. Swami said, never mind, put in your name for a property, you will get a corner house. So in 1964, he signed the SNP. In 1965, the project started and he got the house. So when he got the house, he then asked Swamiji, normally those days they'll give the name of the house, So he said, ask Swamiji, what name should I give to the house? He said, put it as Mahanilam. Mahanilam. Mahanilam is the abode of the Mahan. You see, whoever comes there will get the vibration of a Mahan and become a Mahan. So that board went up when the house came in. And of course, Guru Sankaran had 5 of us. And of course, in 1969, when Swamiji, 63, he came, he went back. There is a time in 1963, he appointed Guru Sankaran as a guru. So he saw that kind of the so closeness that nobody took the initiative to look after him here. Guru Sankaran took him, looked after like a father, and Swamiji said, this is the guy that is going to lead my Sarai. So he appointed him as a guru. He's one of the youngest guru at the time. And he didn't appoint him on land. He was the first guru that was appointed on the Rajula ship, on the sea. So he appointed him and he said, okay, you continue your work. So Guru Sankaran went down to, do his duty. And he remember telling he got a first person that wanted to come for initiation. He was not sure how the confidence was there to initiate. So he wrote to Mahan. Those days all telegram, right? He wrote to Mahan, Swamiji, somebody wants to come for initiation. I'm feeling I'm not sure. Swamiji said, Nada Anapane, I only am the one sent. Don't worry, I'm there with you. You go ahead and do the initiation. So he went on to do the initiation and everything worked out. And then at that time, the Universal Peace Sanctuary was in a property. The first suburb was actually the Universal Peace Sanctuary in Klang. Klang actually is the first suburb for Mahan in Malaysia, right? So that suburb was established in Klang. Guru Sankara was not managing it. Somebody else was managing it. They didn't do a good job of managing it. And of course, in 1967, 69, they brought Swamiji to Malaysia. And that is the time the country was going through a very difficult period. And Swamiji come into the country. And eventually, the suburb was not managed very well and it became deregistered. So from that moment onwards, it was, bringing Swamiji to the country was very difficult because of various issues. And but Guru Sankaran, I remember very clearly, I was 5 years old and we went to the airport to pick up Swamiji in 1969. Those days, Subang Airport, you can stand on the tarmac and see people coming and going. Everybody came out of the aircraft except Swamiji. And then he came out, he said, showed his hand, he said, what happened? Y'all are supposed to come and take me. That time the committee didn't do its job. And they sent him back to India. His footprints was there on Malaysia, but he couldn't come in past the customs, the immigration. He went back. It was a little bit, many disciples came. They were all very disappointed. So Guru Sankara also felt really bad because this is like Mahan, this is like God in human form, and you treat him like this. He was so upset. So he said, this will never happen again. So he then worked hard from 69 to 1974 when, because the suburb was not managed properly, it was deregistered. And in 1974, Swamiji asked, Guru, if I want to bring you, I have to establish a suburb. And I can't go back and get the suburb because it is become defunct. So dibatalkan. So Swamiji said, never mind. You give my original Sabai name, which is Paranjodi Paripurna Virnyana Sabai. And that's how our Sabai was established. In 1974, Mahan gave that inspiration, and then the later years it was established in KL Sabai, because Guru Sankaran moved to KL from Klang in 1973. 74, he started meditation in the house. The time they couldn't afford rental. So in the house, he did the meditation. Slowly, the Sabha was formally established. Mahan was very happy. And Guru Sankaran endeavored to bring Mahan back to Malaysia. It was very difficult, And then in 1976, he brought him. And this picture is taken in 1976 that I'm showing you. And Mahan and Guru Sankaran was so happy. Guru Mahan was so happy that he was able to come back to Malaysia and spend some time with the disciples and impart this knowledge because of, he says, my son Sangar. So this relationship between Mahan and Guru Sankaran was like a son and father. And I remember, Guru Mahan saying that, this whole idea that guru disciple is like a guru in a father and a father in a guru. So Mahan, saw Guru Sankaran as a son itself, you see. So very interestingly that when Mahan, when we had a kind of a dinner, he won't allow anybody to eat on his banana leaf. So he asked Guru Sankaran, Sapti, he said, no, Sami, I'm going to distribute everybody. He said, come. Murchana, you come here and sit down and eat. So Guru Sankaran was given the privilege to eat on Mahan's leaf. And someone said, how come Swamiji never invited us to come? We are also close to him. So Guru Sankaran said, he sees me as like a son, Guru Mahan held his hand and said, no, Taupan போல Guru Sankaran said, அவர் தகப்பன் போல எனக்கு. So he says, என்ன தகப்பன் போல? தகப்பன் தான். He says, what do you mean by son-like, father-like? I am your father, right? So and that was a very profound impact. So he said, from then onwards, he said, no, he is my father, right? So we used to call him Swamiji Tata, the grandfather. So that's why I said this. He saw that Guru disciple born was like a guru in a father and a father in a guru. So as Swamiji also says this very clearly, so that relationship was like Swami Vivekananda and Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. That intensity, everything Swamiji will ask Guru Sankaran, இது செய்யலாமாப்பா Sangar. So Amasami, so that's how the conversation, he'll call Guru Sankaran Sangar, and Guru Sankaran will say, Sami, that's how he will call. So the connection, as Swamiji says, the wire of love and faith connects the Guru and the disciple. The intensity of love and faith of the Guru eventually leads to the Guru becoming the teroti of your life. The Guru becomes the charioteer of your life. And that's how Guru Sankaran saw Guru Mahan. Even Guru Mahan has written this in his book. He says, if the disciple is fit for development of self-knowledge and intense faith and has also progressed in knowledge, so not only having that faith in the Guru, but faith in the knowledge to intensify, right? The status of the Guru will become that of the disciple, right? He says that the disciple will eventually become the Guru, right? And that's what I saw over the years, that the Guru-disciple relationship is so important for one. This is what I call spiritual osmosis. And I saw this very, very clearly between the two of them, as how Ramakrishna Paramahamsa and Swami Vivekananda, towards the end, Swami Vivekananda received that blessing and the passing on the baton. The Ramakrishna passed it to Swami Vivekananda and said, look, I have nothing more to give, and I'm now nothing, and I'm going back to nothing. And he attained Mahasamadhi. So this relationship I saw, and then in 1979, Guru Sankaran went to India for Mahan's birthday, and Guru Sankaran gave a speech on inviting Mahan to Malaysia in 1980. And Swamiji agreed, I will come to Malaysia in April of 1980, and I have the speech actually, and spend my birthday in Malaysia. And that's how in 1980, Swamiji came, very grand, with thousands of people attending. And Swamiji stayed for months here. And then I still remember that he stayed for quite a long time. He used to travel to Singapore and come back. And, you know, he was also very close to the Singapore Subway, which we're going to work very closely in the coming months and years. So Swamiji came back, spent a little bit more time, and then on the 31st of August, 1980, there was a farewell dinner that was organized by Guru Sangaran. And in that farewell speech, Mahan said that he really enjoyed Malaysia's progress since his first visit, and he was saying the objective of the Sabe to help people with various challenges, health, addiction, and so on. And he says that he will come back in 1985. He says, Yennatal, Nyabagatal. He says, you know, I will come in thoughts, you know, and memories. And of course, you know, we had, you know, Swamiji on the 4th of September, he left for India. Uh, although he was supposed to leave on the 2nd, and the plane, we all went to the airport, and the plane could not travel. There were some issues with the plane. So it was delayed for 2-3 days. And Swamiji always packed the bags and ready to go in the airport. And then we had to come back. When he came back to the house, he said, I'm so happy to be back home. So he was very happy. Oh, what the trip, you know? So he was very happy. So that day he had food and had the satsang and so on. Then, of course, the next 2-3 days' time, he had to travel back. And so when he left, he was a little bit sad. I have the pictures of that, even the sadness you can see in his face, that he knew that this is his last physical visit to this country. And it was very close to Guru Sangaran. You know, I've never seen Guru Sangaran and my mother shed a tears, but that day I saw them shed a tear, right? Because I think he knew and they knew that there's a high possibility that he will not return physically. So anyway, they sent him off, and this is in September. Mahan had a very heavy schedule, and then in 1981, 7th of January, uh, Guru Mahan attained Samadhi. And he attained Samadhi on Guru Sankaran's birthday. So that is very interesting. And 7th January is also the date that Swamiji acquired that initiation, 1938, from his Guru in a different form. So the 7th of January was a very important day for both of them. One, Mahan's initiation. Two, it was Guru Sankaran's birthday. Three, Mahan attained Mahasamadhi on the same day of his initiation and Guru Sankaran's birthday. So it was kind of a very auspicious, you know, so you can see that it's the passing on of the baton from one guru to the other. Of course, Guru Sankaran was affected by the passing of Guru Mahan. He took it a little bit hard, but then after a few days, he became invigorated by this Mahan spirit. He says, no, even though physically Mahan is not here, Mahan said that Yennatal, Nyabagatal, I will be here. So that inspiration in him, he worked very hard from 1981 to 1994 before he attained Mahasamadhi. So 1981 to 1994, 13 years, he worked hard to establish this Sabeh, to impart this knowledge to thousands of people. He established the branches across the country to take this knowledge, because many of them cannot come from other states or in rural areas. He established many of the branches, traveled personally, built those sabahs, and took Mahan's knowledge there to many of the disciples. I think there's close to about 50 to 55,000 people that was, across the different, if you see Malaysia. So in 1994, he attained Mahasamadhi on the 20th of January, 20th of November, 1994. And the night, he passed on 20th at about 10:30 in the morning. But the night before, that day was a Sunday. The night was Saturday, where he gave his satsang. He normally never stays in the subway, but that day he told my mother that, never mind, you close the door and put the food all away. I'm going to stay in the subway, and I have a communication with my guru that, there is something special that he wants me to, I'm supposed to do. So my mother was kind of really very interesting. Never has he spoken like this. So anyway, she closed the door, everything, and about everything went. And I think Guru Sangaran had his own, I suppose, spiritual uh, enlightenment or enlightened experience with Mahan. And he came back in the morning at about 6:30, and I can still remember that because there was a toll that time. They established a toll. The toll ticket was still there, the car. He came back. He was feeling very tired. He told my mother, light Swamiji's lamp, and he lied down below his photo. So on the floor where the carpet was, and mother said, "No, you shouldn't. Why are you lying on the carpet? Go inside and sleep. So lie down." So he was tired actually, and then of course he was not, feeling well. My mother was a little bit concerned. She called my cousin, who was a doctor. He came quickly. He said the pulse is very low. He said, "No, no, it's okay, okay." So he rushed him to the hospital, and by 10:30 he attained samadhi. But prior to that, he wrote a letter very, very clearly that he says that his duty here is finished, to establish the Guru Pidam, and that, like all other people who are following this path, when their time is up, they will go. And he told my mother about a week ago, Adi Shankara only lived up to 32 years. Swami Vivekananda only lived up to this age. So he says, once your duty is finished, you have to pass on the baton to the others. And interestingly, that was about a week before Deepavali. So he was very happy. He handed over the key in 1992 to Guru Velu when the Sabha was established. So he already was doing his handover. And he quickly appointed a few gurus, Guru GM, Guru Nyo, a few other gurus, preparing them, and then gave them about a year to prepare for everything. And finally handed over all the responsibilities to them so that he can pursue the spiritual part. And so, of course, on the 20th of January, 20th of November, he attained Samadhi. And I happened to be the only one who was able to come back to do the funeral rites. And what is really fascinating is that the Saturday he did his meditation, and normally when he comes back Sunday, he will hang up his clothes or put the clothes for washing. So that day he came back from the subway, he hung the clothes on the rack. And my mother said, "Why don't you put it for washing? Well, I'm going to do the washing." He says, "No, no, no. Leave it there. My son will come back and use it." So she said, "What do you mean, son? All your sons are overseas in Canada. Which son? Is it your son-in-law?" I said, "No, no, no. One of my sons will come back and use this." So my mother thought, oh, maybe he was too tired or whatever. So it was very interesting that when he passed away, I had to rush from Canada to come here for his funeral. The others could not come because the passport was expired in the embassy. One couldn't get leave. So I said, okay, I was the only one that everything was cleared for me to leave. So we bought the ticket. He passed away on Sunday. I arrived on Tuesday morning. And when I rushed, I didn't take much clothes. I just packed my bags, and I didn't bring a jippa or anything. So I came here, I didn't have the appropriate clothes. And that's when mother remembered that, hey, Acha said that his jippa is hanging there, right? So he said that you will come back or somebody will come back. So he pretty much knew, I think, that. So when I put on his jippa, I could feel his body smell, and his when somebody uses the clothes, their body smell is, I can experience that. And one thing was certain is that my mother was very strong. She never cried. She's really, so he actually prepared her for all these things. You see? So, but what was the learning? He was so enamored by Swamiji's teachings and his fundamental wanting to know Advaita teachings, and Adi Shankara led him to this Mahani. I mean, he was of the belief that Mahan is none other than these gurus that he's been thinking about for a very long time. And all his life he's devoted to Mahan's work, Sabe, and he told me one thing before, when I was leaving for overseas. He says that this Sabe is Mahan, and I will always be there for my Mahan. And that's what the Mahan Ilam means, the abode of Mahan. He says, I carry that Mahan Ilam in me, the Guru's abode. He says, he is my charioteer. And that trust was there by the Guru to the disciple and the disciple to the Guru. Now, if Guru Sankara did not, pursue this intensity, I don't think Mahan would have been known in this country. Right? So Guru Sankaran was the bridge between Mahan and Malaysia. Of course, today there are many, many, many sabes. Many of them take Mahan as a guru. But the seed of all that, the seed of the only seed that was established by this Mahan was our Sabe, and everything else came from our Sabe. So like how a tree, the original tree is there, everything grows, and the seeds fall and they form their own trees. But the seed, the original DNA is from this. So this is why this Sabe is so special to Mahan, so special to Guru Sangaran, and so special to us. This is what we call the Thai Sabe. And that's why, I have benefited significantly from this Sabe because of Mahan and Guru Sangaran. And I've devoted my life to for the development of the Sabe because of these two gurus that saw the Sabe should not stop, the link should not be broken, it should continue. The wonderful thing I learned about Guru Sankaran is that he always says, a great leader will know, a great leader will ensure a proper succession plan is in place. Right? And he established the Guru Council knowing that after him, there needs to be a proper process of selecting the next Guru Piran. And this is where many societies fail because the leader doesn't think of the future development. And Guru Sankaran was one of the very few that established this structure within our Sabe, to establish the Guru Council so that the Guru Piran is the lead. Should anything happen to him, the Guru Council will be able to make appropriate selection. Under the Guru Piran's leadership, the council will work with the Guru Piran to appoint the Gurus as appropriate. So the structure of the Sabe was established by Guru Sankaran. So pretty much he professionalized the Sabe. And today, I'm very proud that actually our Sabe, through all the Gurus, the committees, are committed to carrying this flame from Mahan to Guru Sankaran, to Guru Piran Velu, to Guru Piran Neo. And I'm so privileged that I have got as the fourth Guru Piran to be able to carry this flame because of the support by my gurus, the committee members, the presidents, the chairman of all these Mahan Sabha. And at some point, when I am ready to move on, and we have already an established Guru Council, I'm sure somebody will come to take on this role. And I hope that some of you all, your children, will come forward. I tell you, when you embrace this knowledge, the whole Creator is revealed to you. And the whole creation process aids your creativity and your growth and your enlightenment. So, and that's the knowledge that this Mahan, Guru Sankaran, and all the other Guru Pirans and the Gurus have established, so that this knowledge could be passed on to everyone to transform the scars in their life to stars, to transform the impossibility into impossible. And most importantly, is that to live an enlightened life, as what Swamiji says, the Nan Kadavul, the I God ability to be aware that we are the divine spark. Guru Sankaran always says that, when you have that inspiration from this Mahan, we don't expect an angel. We become the angel. We don't expect a miracle. We become the miracle. We don't expect heaven. We become the heaven itself. And that's what I learned from my gurus. I don't crave for anything except to realize that divinity is within myself. And that knowledge should be passed on to everybody. And that is why we celebrate these days, Remembrance Day, birthday, is to remind that this flame has been passed on for generations, and they were one of the link in that passing on that divine fire to all of us, so that we emulate what they have done with intensity, with faith, with love, to be able to enlighten ourselves and others. So I hope that today, this auspicious day, we remember them as the link that passed on this divine light to us and the future generation. And I'm so privileged that to be in that as an important link to be able to pass that knowledge to all of you all, and you all are passing it through your networks. So I want to thank my gurus, my father, who was my guru and a guru, who set the example of what an enlightened life. You don't have to be a lot of education, lot of money, lot of material things. If you have the abundance of the divinity in you, that's all you need. If you realize the divinity is the chariot of our lives, we don't need to worry about anything, right? What is there to be worried about? Everything will be smooth and wonderful. So with that, I wish you all the best, and I wish all of us will emulate some of the great people that, walk this earth and showed us that though we are mortal, within us there is something immortal. Though our bodies are perishable, there is something that is imperishable. Though our bodies are finite, there is something that is infinite within us. And if we realize that, we won't worry too much about the material reality. Yes, we have to live in the material reality, but we are not impacted by it. We're able to ride through the sukha dukkha's, the ups and downs, and attain that equanimity, that samatva. And life becomes an amazing, amazing journey. And this is what I learned from my gurus. So with that, I wish you all the best.